All right, welcome to Bonita Springs, Florida. This is the Hickory Boulevard Street, and there are a lot of these pretty fancy houses that go through here. These houses range anywhere from $3 million up to as much as $20 million. If you're looking, what we're trying to show you here is how close the water is to these houses. The water was another 50 to 100 foot away. And if you look at these houses, look at the sand that has been washed up in between these houses. There is a gigantic mountain of sand on Lover's Key. They've been hauling that sand out of there since the hurricane hit. Hurricane Milton hit on Wednesday about 2 o'clock in the morning. And so look at this as we go down, and you can almost see the reflection of where the sand has been displaced. Look at how close the beach is to these houses now. It was every bit of 50 to 100 feet all the way down through here, further away from these houses. So, man, I don't know what to think about this. The amount of sand that has been hauled away, I don't know how many loads of sand has gone, but those houses being that close to the ocean right there, the ocean on this part of the beach is about 10 foot deep. The beach down in the Fort Myers Beach area is really shallow, and it doesn't get very deep until you get really far away from the shore. I'm talking like 200 and 300 feet. So what we're doing here is we're just kind of showing you the contrast of what has happened. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I don't know what other words to use, but the amount of sand that got pushed up between these mansions and onto Hickory Boulevard it's just mind-numbing. It is completely and totally unbelievable. So all this sand that you're seeing piled up on this side of these houses, and then you look at all the sand that has been taken away down onto Lover's Key, and I'm just saying, it's so much sand. It's just hard to put words to it. You look at these, you go down Hickory Boulevard, and by the way, Hickory Boulevard was closed from Wednesday all the way through Saturday before we could get down to it. So our business is in Bonita. We live on Fort Myers Beach, and the amount of sand that you're seeing, it was ranging anywhere from a foot to 4 foot. Look at underneath this house right here. That's an 11-foot tall house right there. Look at how much sand is there. Look at the contrast. I mean, Mother Nature, what she's capable of, and these storm surges. I mean, that storm was, 100 miles away. Sarasota's 100 miles from us, and the storm surge from the wind blowing the sand in towards the shore, 35, 50, 60 miles per hour for, 10 hours, 12 hours. Look at what it's done. When I first drove and went around the corner and came down Hickory Boulevard, what kind of went through my mind is I was kind of zoning out, thinking about something, and I looked up and I felt like I was in Montana. We used to go snowmobiling in Montana and in Wyoming, and the sand and the snow that's piled up everywhere the whole winter. And you're looking at this is the equivalent of that, but it's sand. And look at all these yards. You see any green? That's because every yard has anywhere from a foot to 4 foot of sand on it. The road is narrower right now. There's no place for you to walk. If you want to walk down through there, the sand is being picked up by these You know, there's probably 30 or 40 bobcats running all the way down this short little area. This road right here from one end of uh, Hickory to the other is probably not even 2 miles. So, and um, in that short distance, you drive down through there right now, you're going to see, you know, between 20 and 50 dump trucks, depending on what time of the day is and where they're at. You'll see 30 to 40 bobcats, and then you're going to see about 15 of these loaders that are constantly loading up this sand and hauling it down the street. So they're hauling it about 5 miles away to Lover's Key. There's an area in Lover's Key that they keep open for, it's in the state park. It's right next to Estero Boulevard there. And they keep it open for things like storm debris from the hurricanes. And then in this case, they're using it for sand. That pile of sand is every bit of 5 to 6 stories tall, and it's taken up the equivalent of almost a football field at this point. And it doesn't look like there's any end in sight. Look at underneath these houses. The sand washed up underneath these houses. A lot of these houses, when they have a storm coming in like this, they have garage doors on both ends of their house, and they open it up so that the water can rush through and not stress the property and blow their garage doors out. This is just it's incredible. I was down there by Docks, which is at the very end of Hickory, right as the storm surge was coming in the early part of it. I went down there. I don't like to be out there after it gets rolling. I'm out there and I'm there early when the storm first starts. I could kind of see it coming over, and I watch it build. And then when it gets to a certain point, I get out of there because I don't want to get my car swamped. I don't want to get overran by the water and ruin my vehicle. But right there, look at that. That's got to be 3 to 4 foot of sand. That's an older house, probably from the 70s, 80s. These two right here, these are just built in the last 5 years or so. They're going to be in the close to the 8 to 9 to $10 million range. A lot of these are being built. They're building these things. There's really not a lot of space between them. So the water was really pushing up against these mansions and being forced around it and pushing all this sand out onto Hickory Boulevard. So I don't know what to think about these storms. Hurricane Helene came in and gave us a decent amount of storm surge and a decent amount of sand up onto Hickory Boulevard, but nothing like this. When I was talking to the police officers down in Lover's Lane, we were trying to get down here because we wanted to see it. They wouldn't let us come through and film it. And he said there's no way that a car could get through there. He says you probably could. We were in a four-wheel drive vehicle. He said you probably could, but he said the way that some of the sand was laid in there, any kind of vehicle was going to have a struggle. So right here you can see these guys, that right there, that door is about 2 foot shorter than it normally would be. Look at all the sand right there. And this is a lot next to it, and they've been going back and forth a lot, taking sand back out to the beach. The majority of the sand is ending up in the dump trucks going down the street, and what they're going to do is they're going to clean it. They're going to run it through some filters and then put it back on the beach. So I think it's really to avoid the glass and the metal and all the other strange things here. Now this house here was damaged by Hurricane Ian, and it hasn't been torn down yet. I don't know what's going on with that. We own a demo company. We've been looking for the owner to try to get a bid in on that. That right there, that would be 11 feet normally. Okay, I take that back. This must be an old condo building. So you see by the pool heater right there, so that's about 1.5 feet of sand. Now, not only do these guys got to get the sand out of underneath the garages and stuff, a lot of the pools are going to be full of sand as well, significantly. You can see the shadow of the drone right there. So we're just really wanting to bring this to you and let you see it. It's not something you would normally see. It's very interesting. It's kind of sad. It's going to cost a lot of money, and we appreciate you watching. This is Remove It Pros Demolition. Please subscribe and leave us a comment if you have comments about this stuff, and we'll see you on our next video. Thanks.